And we are live, Broncos country. Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. My name is Moose. On a Thursday this time, you're going to be seeing some new kind of switch-ups for Broncos Live. Usually we're going to be going live on Mondays and on Thursdays. This was the one time, though, by the way. Monday, I did not go live because I literally had no voice. Like, I could not squeak words out. You guys knew how bad that vocal quality was. You watched the videos. So as we begin our weekly live session, and before we get into everything that we're going to be talking about today, give me your predictions for Colts versus Broncos. Yes, we're very, very excited for week 2 coming up here, and I'm going to reconnect my Wi-Fi because I'm offline once again, Dilly. Hold on, let's see if we're back in there. There we go. Now we got people back in there. We're all good to go. Brian Newman coming in saying he better have more than 200. I'm going to assume you're talking about Bo Nix in our poll question. Bro Winston, good to see you, my guy. When I first got on, I thought the countdown was minutes for a second. Live in 30 minutes. No, just seconds, my guy. Daniel, what's up, dude? Yeah, listen, here's the thing. I don't want to get into too many about what happened yesterday. Obviously, it was an awful, awful tragedy. It really was. But we're here to talk about the Broncos. We're here to talk about football. Let's keep it about football. I don't want everybody to get up in arms with each other. It is a very, very sad thing what happened yesterday. I will not deny it whatsoever. My heart broke for him and his family. So I will say this, let's try to keep it about the Broncos today because we're going to keep it lighthearted. We're going to talk a little bit about this Broncos versus Colts preview. And believe it or not, we're going to talk discounts here in just a second. But I'm going to give out some shout-outs here to the people that were giving their predictions for Broncos versus Colts. Ian coming in, 17-24 Broncos. I think you want that flipped around, my guy, because 17-24 means you're going to lose. 17-27 Broncos win. How about 27-17? Am I the only one that feels like that? Dilly, like if you see the lower score first, that usually means you like lose. If you're talking about your team, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. So if you put 17-27, you're identifying that you're losing. Correct. That's what I thought. There we go. Brian coming in now saying 30-13 Broncos win. I saw a comment on yesterday's video, which I really, really loved. And it said this game is either going to be 31-6 or 14-10. And there is no in between. There's not going to be a game where this goes like 24-13 or 24-17. It'll be a blowout or it'll be super close. And I absolutely agree with that statement. Isaac saying 31-17 with 200 yards on the ground. I would love that. Brian saying D-interception Jones 3 times, baby. Micah, what up, dude? 24-21 Denver. PS2 is going to be a lockdown. Broncos 33, Colts 9. Awesome. If you are just entering, welcome into the Broncos Breakdown. Make sure you hit that thumbs up icon to help grow the stream today. We will be live on Sunday before the game starts, an hour before the game starts. If you remember last week, there was this massive power outage that we had here at Chat Sports where everything just kind of like shut down, and then we had to come in about halfway through the first quarter. We ended up getting a pretty good, decent stream out of it all, but that's the reason we weren't able to go live earlier last week. So this week, fully expect that we're going to be going live a full hour before the game starts. So 2 o'clock Central, and that would be, it'd be like 1 p.m. Mountain Time. Will, what up, Will? Will says 28-7. And I got to reconnect again. Maybe I was wrong. Of course I jinxed myself, Dylan. Of course I jinxed myself. Have perfect Wi-Fi all day long, and now all of a sudden, it goes down. Except this isn't a Chat Sports thing. This is a Moose thing. Get back. Sorry, 1 sec. Goodness gracious. Dilly Dilly, why don't you jump on the mic there, Dill? Haven't seen you in a minute. You've been plugging away over there on Vikings and Jets, huh?
Yeah, to take a little hiatus from Broncos, but I'm back.
You are back today. You are officially Bubba Bike. BYKE. Chase, what up, dude? 28-10 Broncos. Trippin says close game, 24-21 Broncos. I like all of the Denver Broncos picks here. Micah, I'm fully on board with you, my dude. Nick's rebound game for sure. He needs it big time. All right, let's talk a little bit about this discount that I'm talking about. You guys are going to love this. So I spoke to the higher-ups, the head honchos that are in charge of allowing us to kind of give a little bit of leadway onto what we're able to give away on our live streams. And there's a deal that's been set in place. If we make $150 on today's live stream, $150, Sunday's raffle will be half off the prices. I'm sure you're wondering, what did you give away last week? Last week we gave away a Bo Nix jersey, which went to our friend James Linens, I think is his last name. That's how you say it. James Linens. So that was ordered for him. Everything came in. But this week, we've got something even cooler, in my opinion. I love this. Sunday's raffle item is a Broncos snow cap mini helmet. It's about this big. So it's not one of those little tiny ones like this big. It's about that big, goes perfect on a mantle, would look great in your man cave, maybe at a bar. You just plop it down there. It's super nice. Nice little throwback logo on there. And here's the good news. If this does well, we've got some ideas for maybe doing a big, gigantic, authentic, real-size Denver Broncos helmet. So if we make $150 on today's live stream, not only am I going to give the 3 top spenders automatic raffle entries, but half off for everybody else going into our Sunday game against the Indianapolis Colts. And speaking of, how do you enter with these early raffle entries? I'm glad you asked. $5 to get in right now. $10 will get you 3 early raffle entries. $20, you can spin the wheel of pain. Dylan's got an entire wheel of stuff for me to do on today's live show, including but not limited to push-ups, sit-ups, jumping jacks, wall sits, crunches, you name it. They've got it on the wheel of pain. Plus, we're going to feature your name on that little L3 down there if you do send in a 20. So you send in a 20, we're going to take your username and we're going to feature it right here on Broncos Breakdown Live. And then, of course, if you send in a $50 super chat, we're going to throw down a beer bong. And you get 20 early raffle entries for this Broncos snow cap mini helmet. Did I do a good job there, Dylan? Did I get everything? Bro Winston says butt chugs. He was sending in super chats last time talking about some butt chugs. No butt chugs today for me, but I will say this. You send in a 50, I'll rip one right now and put your name up here, plus I'll spin the wheel for you. You send in a 50 right now, I'll do all of that. Spin the wheel, put your name up, and I'll take down a beer bong. Mark, good to see you, dude. So this is our Super Chat menu for today. Remember, this is for our brand new raffle item that we're putting up here on Sunday. Dylan, if you want to show it one more time, what it looks like, a nice little throwback snow cap mini helmet. Remember, it's not the little tiny ones, not like this big that's, can fit in your pocket. This one's about yay high. So it's about that big of a round. Super cool item. Got a nice little weight to it, and it is the throwback snow cap logo. This is the first time we've ever given one of these away on the Broncos Breakdown, by the way. So you could be the very first one to get in, and all it costs is $5 right now, and you're going to get an early raffle entry. I want to reward the people that tune in during the week, not just on Sundays. Yep, see, Mark, we just said the snow cap helmet. Yeah, it is pretty clean. It's clean. All right, let's talk about what we've got on today's episode. So we got 3 topics coming your way, talking a little bit about the Broncos versus the Colts preview. However, this time on today's live stream, I'm going to go take more of an approach as to the Indianapolis Colts. So earlier this week, I gave you what the Broncos need to do to win. But this time, I'm going to go head-to-head. Who's better at positional groups, the Denver Broncos or the Indianapolis Colts? And believe it or not, as I was going through this, the Colts have an advantage in some positional units, which I thought was interesting because I thought at first, I was like, now the Broncos definitely got this. It's almost going to be a clean sweep. And then I was wrong. But no, the Broncos still have the advantage, so I'll show you that. And then, of course, the NFL analyst that said, what about Bo Nix? And it's not nearly as bad as you might think. I believe he said it more in a negative connotation, but I believe you can spin it in a positive way. And then, of course, we're going to have our mailbag. Use hashtag Broncos to get in on the show, or Super Chat to skip the line. You'll be featured front and center on our mailbag if you send in any Super Chat. That could be a $2 one. That could be a $5 one. And remember, if we make $150, I'm going to slash those prices on Sunday for the Broncos snow-capped throwback mini helmet. And there we go. We're down already. Oh, Dylan. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull up my phone here and make sure that we have at least a backup plan. How about that? You like that? You like that, Dylan? There we go. All righty. We're loaded up on Broncos Breakdown Live. Sweet. I got my backup plan in. There we go. We got a D, B, 4, L, Bro, Winston, bang! What up, bro? Hell yeah, dude. Coming in with a $50 banger. He says, would you guys ever do a collab with Perna? Hey, listen, I try to get as many collabs as I can. I've reached out a bunch of different areas, talking about, hey, do you guys want to come on the show? Do you want to, do a little cross episode? I haven't heard anything back yet. So I can only do so much to get the ball rolling until somebody needs to pick up that ball, make a call to Moose, and say, hey, I want to do a collab with you. Hopefully, as this channel grows, we can get more collabs like that. But, hey, I wish they would give me a call back. So, Bro, appreciate your 50. That's going to be a beer bong that I have to take down. I'll message that in Slack real quick. And then also, Mr. Dylan, we got a wheel of pain. So if you want to put up that wheel with the push-ups, sit-ups, crunches, jumping jacks, basically anything to make me do some exercise because I haven't done really any since I got back from my wedding. I'm like getting that dad bod going right there. Yeah. Now that I'm a married man, got to get the dad bod going. Sasha, what up, Sasha? Colts better running back, Broncos better coach and defense. You're going to find out in our preview exactly how I think, but you're on the right track for sure. You're on the right track. Bro coming in with a 50 early. We're already a third of the way there, Dylan. A third of the way there to make everything else half off on Sunday. And Bro, by the way, gets 20 raffle tickets. He's already in. So I'm going to go put that up right now. Bro's in 20 times. So that means, by the way, that when Sunday comes around, Bro will already be entered into our duck race 20 different times. He's already in. Gotta love it. All righty. As soon as we get that wheel spin going, Dylan, we'll start with our first seg. What do you say? Bye-bye, love. I'll catch you later. Got a foot down. What is going on with my chat right now? The live chat just does not seem to be working. There we go. Got 54 people rocking in the building with us. As soon as we hit 30 likes, we're going to start our first segment. 30 is the magic number. Hit that like button, that thumbs up icon. Start it up. Come on. Don't do this to me now. I was good all day long. No, that's fine. All right, let's spin that wheel and then let's get started. 30 likes we have to get to as well. That's 6 likes away. Tick, 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 tick. 20 jumping jacks. Love it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. Yes, Micah, we are almost at 40,000 subscribers. We are 11 subs away. That's pretty amazing. That is pretty amazing. All right. Let's get back on that list 3 there, Dylan. Whew. See, I said it was easy, and now I'm struggling for breath. All right, so we got our Broncos versus Colts preview coming up here as soon as I catch my breath because I'm out of shape. Then we're going to talk about what NFL analyst said what about Bo Nix. It's not as bad as you might think, although I think he kind of meant it to be a slight jab, like a slight criticism. And then, of course, we're going to get into our mailbag. Use hashtag Broncos or Super Chat. As soon as I load this up, because we're at 30 likes, we're good to go. And then we'll be good to rock and roll. Good to rock and roll. There we go. All right. All right, Dylan, you ready? Love. Here's what I'll do. Pull up our Ethos script as well, and then we're starting. There we go. All right. Ready to rock and roll, dude? All right. We're going to get into our Broncos versus Colts preview. A reminder that this is about head-to-head matchups. Which positional units are better, the Broncos or the Colts? We're going to go position group by position group rather than what the Broncos need to do to win. Are you ready? Let's get started. We are this close to our Indianapolis Colts versus Denver Broncos matchup this coming Sunday, NFL Week 2 and Broncos Country. Welcome into this episode of the Broncos Breakdown. On it, I'm going to give a full preview of the Denver Broncos versus the Indianapolis Colts. Today's preview is a little bit different, though. It's a head-to-head assessment, position group by position group, which one is better for the Denver Broncos and for the Indianapolis Colts. It's not necessarily going to be a key to victory for the Denver Broncos. I'm going straight up which positional groups are better. Before we do that, though, of course, I have to tell you that each major position group is used to determine who has the upper hand. So based off of this list, it should give you a comprehensive view of who's going to get the W coming up on Sunday. Let's start with the list. We'll go head coach, and then we'll trickle our way down through the offense into the defense. Obviously, the Broncos have the advantage. Sean Payton over Shane Steichen. This is probably one of the easiest ones on the list. It is the obvious choice in tenure, in skill, in play calling, in success. Sean Payton beat Shane Steichen, who is in year 3 now of being a head coach, in almost every statistical category. It isn't close. Sean Payton beats out 99% of all the other coaches, by the way, outside of maybe Andy Reid. Like, that's maybe it. So I'll take Sean Payton over pretty much anyone all day long. Give me the Broncos on the head coach. How about quarterback? I still think this one is Broncos. And I know that everyone's like, well, did you see what Daniel Jones did against the Miami Dolphins? Couple things. Number one, if you're going to sit here and try to tell me that Daniel Jones is a better player than Bo Nix, not only are you lying to me, but you're lying to yourself. Don't let one game fool you. Bo Nix is far better than Daniel Jones already. Daniel Jones is on his third team. Granted, he got moved to the Vikings and then now is on his second stint with his second full-time team. But let's just take a look at the numbers from last season alone. Daniel Jones only played in 10 games because he got traded away. He got benched and then moved down all the way to like QB3 and then traded or released, which one it was. I don't remember if it was either one of those. Either way, he's no longer playing for the Giants. Bo Nix beats him in all of this. Completion percentage, yards, touchdowns, interceptions, quarterback rating. It wasn't close. Bo Nix is a far better player, and 1 week of bad football does not make Daniel Jones a better quarterback. Let's move into the running backs. But before I do that, pick a quarterback. Bo Nix, type BN. Daniel Jones, type DJ. This should be pretty obvious. I'm typing my BNs, and I'm typing them all day long. Like I said, let's move on to the running backs. This time, I actually think the Colts have the advantage. And that's because of one name, Jonathan Taylor. Now, that doesn't mean that the combination of R.J. Harvey and J.K. Dobbins isn't great. But Jonathan Taylor alone is an absolute dog. And they drafted this kid named DJ Giddens, who I think is going to be a very nice complementary back going forward this season. But Jonathan Taylor is a top 5 running back in the league. So I have to weigh everything. Do I like the 1-2 punch right now of J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey more than I like the 1-2 punch of Jonathan Taylor and DJ Giddens? Sure. But Jonathan Taylor's a dog. I mean, look at what he put up last year. He can do it both in the passing game and the running game. And he only played in 14 games last year. He had 1,400 rushing yards and 136 passing yards, or receiving yards, excuse me. So he's almost at 1,600 yards from scrimmage in 14 games played with 12 total touchdowns. Yeah, he can play. He's also going to be one of the players that you absolutely have to stop, because if you give him any sort of semblance of an open hole, he's going to absolutely destroy you. So your defensive line has to be as sharp as it can possibly be. Same with your linebackers. You cannot afford any missed tackles against this team. Wide receivers, I'm going to go with a push on this one. And the reason I say that is because I like a lot of what the Indianapolis Colts have added to their wide receiver room, specifically in their big three. Their big three are Michael Pittman Jr., Alec Pierce, and Adonai Mitchell. I also think Josh Downs has some positive, output as a fourth string wide receiver, or not a fourth string, but a fourth option at wide receiver. But those big three, I think, are severely underrated based off of how bad the quarterback play has been in Indianapolis. But I would stack it up to the Broncos wide receivers. Like, Courtland Sutton might be slightly worse than Michael Pittman Jr. It's really close. Like, you could coin flip it on any certain day, and I think you would take Pittman or Sutton and Pittman. But then I would have Marvin Mims Jr., Troy Franklin, and Pat Bryant as my next three to stack up right against that Indianapolis Colts wide receiver room. So I'm going to go with a push because, like I said, I think the best way that you could describe this is it's just a full coin flip. On one game, you could see the Colts wide receivers play better, and on another game, you could see the Denver Broncos wide receivers play better. I think it's almost dead even. So give me the push on that one. Offensive line. This is more recency bias. I'm going with the Colts. Did you see what they were able to do for Daniel Jones against the Miami Dolphins? I know the Dolphins suck. I know the Dolphins have literally negative secondary. But Danny Dimes had the 6th highest quarterback passer rating in week 1 at 115.9. So we'll round it up to 116. He played outstanding. he looked like a playoff version of himself. He was fantastic. Do you think that was because Daniel Jones suddenly learned how to play quarterback? I don't think so. I think he had plenty of time to deliver inside the pocket, and that's all offensive line. And based off of what I saw from last week, I thought the Broncos' offensive line definitely got better in the second half, made the correct adjustments, but that first half left a lot to be desired. So I'm going to say inches, not feet, but give me the Colts' offensive line in this one to slightly outweigh the Denver Broncos. So I'll ask you this question as a whole from an offensive perspective. Who's got the better offense, Denver or Indy? I think overall, as a whole, I think Denver has a better offense. You might give the slight nod in specific areas, but if you were to ask me on any given Sunday, would you rather have Indianapolis Colts offense or the Denver Broncos offense? I would take Denver's 10 times out of 10. Now, coming up, I'm going to tell you the real difference makers in this game because clearly it's the defense. In fact, the Indianapolis Colts, in my opinion, don't really have any sort of actual advantage over the Broncos in any of the defensive line. Before I do that, though, I have to tell you about our friends over at Ethos. Listen, my friends, I took the plunge. I got married, and now families are being discussed, kids even, and that's why life insurance is something that I don't play around with anymore. So that's where our friends from Ethos comes in. You can get protected in as little as 10 minutes with rates at less than $23 a month. Ethos is revolutionizing the insurance industry with a 100% online process and can provide protection for you and your loved ones without ever leaving your house. That is right. They are completely 100% online with no medical exams. Just answer a few easy health questions online. You can get same-day coverage without ever leaving your house. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/NFL Daily. That's ethos.com/NFL Daily. I'll have all of that ready for you in the comments and description of today's video. Thank you to Ethos for sponsoring today's episode. How about the defense? Let's talk about defense because it wins championships, right? Let's go defensive line. It's the Broncos. Now, this was probably, I don't want to say it's the closest, but you definitely have to give at least some recognition to two players on the Colts defensive line, that being DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart. Both of those players are no slouches. I would never say they're all-pro caliber players, but they are NFL veterans that absolutely have talent. You cannot take them for granted. All in all, though, between Zach Allen, John Franklin Myers, if he plays, and DJ Jones, stop it. I'll take the Broncos defensive line all day. So give me the Broncos there. Edge rushers, I don't even think we really need to talk about this one, do we, Dilly? Like Colts fans would say, just move on to the next one. The Broncos have the best edge rushers in the National Football League. Next, linebackers. Okay, so if Dre Greenlaw was playing, I'd give this to the Broncos. But I'm going to say a push. And I say this because there's one player on the Colts that just gives me fits all the time. His name is Zaire Franklin. And Zaire Franklin led the league in tackles. Was it last year or 2 years ago? It's one of those two. But he is a tackling machine. He has literally a nose for the football. And if we go back to his 2024 statistics, just take a look real quick. I don't know if you see what I'm seeing. 173 tackles is absolutely insane. 11 tackles for loss with 3.5 sacks. So if he needs to go on a quarterback design blitz, he can get to the quarterback. His PFF grade is not the greatest, but just like Zach Allen, he's out there for almost every single play. So there's going to be plays where he does get beat. At that point, when you're playing 85 to 90% of the snaps, you can't look at the PFF grade as something to go off of as a gauge. Like he's easily their best player on defense in that middle of the field, and it's not close. So Zaire Franklin is something that, or somebody, that you have to look out for. But for the most part, with the depth that the Broncos have occurred over this season and have shown even last week with the likes of Justin Stranad, who played outstanding. Alex Singleton played well. I think this is a push. I'll just say that they kind of hit head-to-head. And then, of course, the secondary, which for this game specifically is the biggest mismatch of them all, and it's the Broncos. I don't know if you're a Colts fan watching this, and if you're not, you welcome into the Broncos Breakdown, or if you are, welcome into the Broncos Breakdown. But the Colts secondary is absolutely decimated. I'll talk about that in just a second. But really, like what we saw last week between Pat Surtain, Riley Moss, Jahdae Barron scooped up a fumble. Jaquan McMillan had a sack at the very end of the game, made a huge play. Like, stop it. This is a no-fly zone 2.0. Riley Moss was incredible in man coverage, and Pat Surtain is the best lockdown corner in the league. It's not going to be close. And also, like I had mentioned previously, the Colts secondary is in shambles right now. Charvarius Ward is in concussion protocol. He's their best corner, and he's not going to play. Jalen Jones is one of their other players that they drafted, and he's a rotational cornerback. He is also out. They thought about putting him on IR. He's not going to go on IR, I don't think, but he's definitely not playing. So their secondary is completely decimated right now, and that's one of the keys to victory that I put in the video maybe 2 days ago. I was saying Bo Nix has an opportunity to absolutely shred this Indianapolis Colts secondary. If you think the Denver Broncos beat the Colts, before we end today's episode, type W in the comment section. And if you're watching during our live show, make sure you type W right now in the live chat. I want to see as many W's as possible. Only if you think the Denver Broncos are going to start off 2-0 and beat the Indianapolis Colts. That's going to do it for us on today's episode, Broncos Country. A reminder to have fun when I see you next for our watch party against the Colts. A mile-high salute to you. And as always, be cool. Good stuff, Dilly. Good stuff, Dilly. Yeah, there we go. We got a lot of W's going. James is in. What up, James? Good to see you, dude. Oh, my God. We're 8 subscribers away. Dylan. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Hey, listen, if you are watching right now, all 77 of you, and you have not subscribed, you could literally help us hit 40,000 subscribers on this stream right now. So if you haven't done so, hit that sub button and help us get right there to 40K. The live sub count is so much fun. So much fun. We'll definitely get there before Sunday. We're only 8 away. But it would be cool to get it done on this Thursday because I don't know if you guys knew this. During the football season, the Chat Sports office off days are Friday, Saturday. So technically, today is my Friday, even though it's Thursday. So tomorrow I have off. Saturday I have off. I lost my train of thought, Dylan. I'm having a bit of brain fog right now. Oh, yeah. So I assume that we're absolutely going to get it before Sunday. But if you could help us get it on my Friday, that'd be great. Micah is sub. Micah's a dog. Did you guys hear that Brock Purdy is out for 2 to 5 weeks? Brock Purdy is out. And let's be very clear about something. I know how good. Ooh, John Franklin Myers practiced today. Let's go. There we go. Breaking news. John Franklin Myers practiced today after not practicing yesterday with his knee injury, which is good news. It's very good news. Dre Greenlaw did not practice. But I told you guys in the video that I made earlier today, I said that I think Sean Payton's doing that deliberately. I think they're going to keep him out until week 3 against the Los Angeles Chargers. That's the first divisional game. That game means a whole lot more than this week 2 game. Every game's important, but the divisional games definitely mean a little bit more than your random, out of division games, your conference games, whatever you want to call it. Ingram is in good shape. Ingram's going to be ready to go. Victory lap. But yes, John Franklin Myers practiced today. That's a great sign. He only had 1 tackle, though, against the Titans, which is not good. Greenlaw is not practicing, which to me means he's not going to play. By the way, if you want to help us get half off on Sunday for our sweet Denver Broncos snow-capped mini helmet raffle giveaway, take a look at the very first time we're giving away something like this on the channel. I think it's so cool. This is what it looks like. This is the exact model. So if we get to $150 on today's show, we're already at 50. I will not only give the people that super chat the most in automatically for those raffle entries. Shout out to Bro Winston, who's already in 20 times. But it'll be half off entries on Sunday. So you're going to get in automatically today, and then you could get in even more for half the price on Sunday. It's just me slinging deals, Dilly, like a blackjack dealer. So all we have to do is get another two $50 super chats. I'm going to rip another beer bong. Speaking of which, I have to send that in real quick. I have to say, hey, someone bring in a beer bong. I'm going to do that real quick before we start. Let's go to Alice HQ. Someone bring a beer bong to Studio E. Awesome. All right, Alper's coming to deliver that. All right, sweet. Sweet, 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 Dylan. I'm going to try to reconnect again because we're out one more time. It was doing so well. It really was. And here we are. We're back. Is it filled? Yes, please.
Let's go Pats.
Oh, shut up. No. Wrong. You guys lost. We didn't. Any flavor is fine. Yes, Mark, you are correct. It is a new addition to from the Walton Penner Group. So it is pretty cool. It's the first time we're giving away this on the channel. So if you do want to get in, all it costs is $5. 64 people rocking with us right now. We got 53 likes on today's episode. That is awesome. Appreciate it. I'm going to rip this beer bong before we get started. Oh, yeah. Beautiful. Get out of here. Everybody boo this man. Boo this man. He's sitting here talking about go Pats go, and he also said that Drake May clears Bo Nix.
He does clear Bo Nix.
But one of those quarterbacks is 1-0, and the other one's 0-1, and you lost to the Raiders. You know who doesn't lose to the Raiders? The Broncos.
I didn't know Drake May lets up 360 yards. Didn't know that. Didn't know Drake May was the reason that happened.
Hey, listen. All I know is winning is a quarterback stat. Winning is a quarterback stat, my guy.
That's why Brady's better than Peyton.
Get out of here. He's a rage baiter. He loves to rage bait. I know. All right. Hey, we got a $20 super chat. All right. I'm going to rip this one real quick. We'll answer that $20 super, and we'll get into our second segment. Then we'll spin the wheel for James. Cheers to you, Bro Winston. Oh, that didn't feel good. All right. Can you also switch the L3 real quick to his username? Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. We'll put you on second here in just a minute, James, because we're going to make sure that we fulfill everything that we absolutely can for your $20 super chat. Can you do like an @ sign? Like yeah, there you go. Yes. Can you highlight it? Sweet. One sec. Here we go. We'll get them up on screen in 3, 2, 1. Bang. There it is. At James Linens. Helmet looks good. JFM can solidify the D-line. Hope O-line will be in sync all game long. Look, John Franklin Myers playing is good news. Regardless if he only had one tackle against the Titans, it is good news. He is absolutely a key piece to this defensive line right now, with Savion Jones still learning this defense and trying to get in on some reps in the NFL. So I'm glad that he's healthy, and I'm glad that he's playing, because his contract negotiations are up in the air. Like, everybody knows he wants a new contract. He's basically playing for his next one. He's got to do a lot better than one tackle. So I'm glad he's on the field. It'll definitely give the Broncos an advantage. I hope the O-line's in sync all game long, too. I think it will. I think Sean Payton took a lot of credit for that, or accountability for that, I think is the better word, where he said, look, I got to be better when it comes to my play calling and my designed runs. So I love that my coach takes accountability, which is great. So let's see what they've got against the Indianapolis Colts. All right, let's get into our second segment here, because I know you guys want to see that too. We got NFL stuff to talk about. There was one NFL analyst that had a comparison for Bo Nix, and not a player comparison, but a different position comparison in a different sport. And I think he may have meant it as a jab. But the more and more I look at it, the more and more I'm like, no, actually, I kind of want Bo to be what this position is. And I'm going to talk about it in this episode. Excuse me. Gosh. All right, Dylan, you ready? Sweet. Oh, I disconnected again, Dylan. Well, that was short-lived, huh? All right, here we go. James is in, by the way. We'll spin that wheel when we're done with this episode. Really quick. There we go. Yeah, I love the snow-capped helmets, by the way. Some of my favorites. All right, here we go. Let's do it, Dylan. Let's get into today's episode of what NFL analysts said what about Bo Nix. Bo Nix just got some high praise despite a rough start from one NFL analyst who has been particularly harsh about Bo Nix in the past. And we're going to talk about exactly what he said on today's Broncos Breakdown episode. Broncos country, mile high salute to start off today's episode to you. Welcome in. My name is Moose. Let's get to it, shall we? Who is this NFL analyst that had something to say about QB1? His name is Albert Breer. In case you've never heard of him, he does this thing called the Albert Breer Show or the Albert Breer Podcast, but he also used to write for this article called the Monday Morning Quarterback. And essentially what he does is he travels from camp to camp and team to team, doing deep dives on the team, but specifically around the quarterbacks. So he is like a quarterback expert in terms of media reporting. So if there's one guy that I trust about the quarterback play and what he has heard from coaches and scouts and coordinators, Albert Breer is definitely at the top of that list. Here's what he specifically had to say about Bo Nix. Not many people are going to come out of that game and talk about Bo Nix. He played point guard. This says a lot about where Denver is at. And at first I read that and I went, is he taking a shot at Bo Nix? And then I thought, no, he's not taking a shot. He's actually giving Bo Nix some praise. And we're going to talk about why I believe he's giving Bo Nix some praise, even despite the bad week 1 performance. Before I do that, though, I just want to list in front of you the AFC West quarterbacks that we're going to be facing later on this season. Justin Herbert, believe it or not, is be coming up next week in week 3. But here's what I need you to do. Ignore Patrick Mahomes. Ignore Justin Herbert. And ignore Geno Smith and the rotation of different quarterbacks that the Raiders have. But what you can do is hit that thumbs up icon for QB1, Bo Nix, because I believe Bo Nix can be right at the very top alongside Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert as his career unfolds. So Breer called Bo Nix a point guard. Interesting. And I went back, like I said, and I started to rethink what he meant. And I'm like, actually, that's not bad praise. Because if you think about what a traditional point guard does, in case you're not a basketball guy, I'm going to tell you why it is the perfect analogy. I want Bo Nix to be more like a traditional point guard. 1997 point guard. Somebody that averages 9 points a game but gives you 11 assists. Because what is a point guard responsible for? Setting up the offense, a.k.a. the huddle, changing the play at the line of scrimmage. How about handling the ball? Who handles the ball on every single play? Duh, quarterback. The quarterback also dictates the flow of the game, just like the point guard. He's the one that speeds it up. He's the one that slows it down. And a point guard assists their other playmakers. Pass first. Obviously, quarterbacks pass the ball. But you get my point. Bo's job right now is to put the ball in the hands of his playmakers. Don't try to do too much. I want Bo Nix to show more game managing. Why? Because it is the most underrated quality a quarterback can have. Who are the ultimate game managers? Think about, let's go back here for just a second. Who are the ultimate game managers in NFL history? Tom Brady. Was Tom Brady ever the most athletic quarterback? Hell no. Peyton Manning. Did Peyton Manning have a gun like Josh Allen did or Brett Favre did? No. How about Drew Brees? Did he have the size of Ben Roethlisberger? No. But what could all three of those guys do better than almost anybody that's ever played the game? Understand how to get the W's at the end of the clock when it hits 00. And that's why Peyton Manning will go down as one of the greatest quarterbacks that's ever lived. Top 5. Drew Brees will go down as a top 10 quarterback. Tom Brady, largely considered the GOAT. So what are the Broncos' strengths that allow Bo Nix to be a point guard? The number 1 defense in the NFL. He's backed by some pretty spectacular players. Continuity in the offensive line. While the offensive line might have struggled a little bit week 1, all 5 starters returned from 2024. And a new and improved run game. Where Sean Payton has said, I need to put the ball in the hands of J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey a lot more frequently than I have before. Winning is the ultimate stat. Period. If Bo Nix went out and threw for 180 yards every single game and made 1 touchdown every game for the rest of the season, but the Broncos went to the Super Bowl, I'd be the happiest camper alive. Because it's not about being Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. How many Super Bowls do those guys have? Goose eggs. They're the most talented out there. Same with Joe Burrow. None of them have Super Bowl wins. Mahomes has Super Bowl wins, and he is ultimately one of the most athletic that's ever played, but he's also an incredible game manager. And that's why they have all of the 3 Super Bowl wins that they do. So let me ask you this question. Bo Nix will finish as a top blank quarterback in 2025. I absolutely think top 12 still. I'm not wavering off my claim that I made earlier on this season. I think week 1 was rough, but it's week 1. So let me know in the comment section down below what you think. All right, coming up, I'm going to tell you about what NFL.com ranked as the NFL, what they call quarterback tiers after week 1. And this, to me, is incredibly puzzling because at one hand, they do go off of week 1 performances somewhat, but they also don't. It's weird. Now, before I get into that, let me tell you about today's presenting sponsor, and that, of course, is Prize Picks. Look, you and I make decisions every single day. There's no doubt about it. But on Prize Picks, you can actually get paid to be right. And Prize Picks is good to be right. All you have to do is pick 2 to 6 players and their stat projections. You pick more or less, and then you send that pick in. Easy as 1, 2, 3. Prize Picks is the best way to win cash this football season. Which players are going off, which ones aren't. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your takes into cash all season long on Prize Picks. Join millions of users and sign up today. You can download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Here's what mine looks like for week 2. I picked a bunch of players, none of which are the Broncos, by the way, but this was just a little quick one that I threw in like a couple of days ago. Lamar on the more rushing yards, Justin Fields on the more rushing yards, Travis Kelce on the more on the receiving because it's only 0.5, so obviously that's like a home run hitter. And then Bijan Robinson on less than 70 rushing yards going up against the Minnesota Vikings. I don't think they got it. So here's what I'm going to tell you one more time to do. Download the app, use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. I'll have all of that in the comments and description of today's video as well as in the live chat. Prize Picks. It is good to be right. So how about this? NFL.com's quarterback tiers heading into week 2. And like I said, this is puzzling because on one hand, they go off of some quarterback performances week 1, and then there's some clear bias that they show in the list as well. What you need to know about this list is that it is comprised of 7 tiers. The first tier being the very upper echelon of NFL quarterbacks, and the 7th being the peasants of NFL quarterbacks. So we'll go through the first 5 reveal style, and then we'll just kind of jumbo put everything else together. Spoilers, you're not going to see Bo Nix in the top 10. NFL's tier 1 after week 1 heading into week 2. Josh Allen comes in at number 1, followed by Patrick Mahomes. And then number 3 is Lamar Jackson, followed by number 4, Mr. Joe Burrow, and number 5, Jaden Daniels, who plays tonight against the Green Bay Packers at the time of this recording. I have no real problem with this except for one thing. Are we sure that Joe Burrow deserves to be on this list? Because if it's based off of week 1 performances, it's wrong. Joe Burrow had like 118 yards passing and 1 touchdown. He barely beat the Cleveland Browns, who suck. They're terrible. So I don't know if this is like you had to win and there's some previous bias of what they've done last year, because that clearly kind of seems what it's like and not what they originally said, which is it's based off of week 1. How about tier 2? NFL.com's tier 2. This is where you're going to see the majority of quarterbacks fall into. Justin Herbert, Stafford, Hurts, Mayfield, Prescott, Stroud. Geno Smith falls in this category. Brock Purdy and Jared Goff coming in to round out tier 2. I'm pretty okay with this. I don't know that I would have had Baker Mayfield in this list. I know he threw 3 touchdowns and no picks. But for the majority of that game, I don't know if you watched it, he was awful. Like, really, really bad. Low completion percentage, was missing targets all day long. He had basically 3 really good clutch throws that ended up being touchdowns. So I guess you could, throw him in there. But like I said, I've got no gripes with tier 2. On to tier 3. Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers, Justin Fields. I think they have Love and Fields way too low. Justin Fields balled out against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Aaron Rodgers played well also, but this was one of Justin Fields' best games as a professional. Seriously, he was awesome. So I think they're a little bit low here. And like I said, if you're going off of week 1 performances, Fields deserves to be way higher. NFL tier 4 ranks, yikes. Trevor Lawrence, wow, okay. I don't know about you guys. I'm not high on Trevor Lawrence at all. I don't know what the NFL sees in him. I think he's the king of mid. But Sam Darnold, who fumbled at the very end of that game and lost is in tier 4. Same with Kyler Murray, who did just enough to get that W. Didn't do anything spectacular. This is kind of like the mid-tier. Like you played okay, but nothing good enough to actually propel you forward into the higher ranks. And then we get Bo, tier 5. Now, let's just take a moment here. I'm not going to lie to you. I think Bo's a little high on this list. I wouldn't have had him at 21. Which is why I say I'm not sure what the criteria is for this list. Are you going off of wins and losses, or are you going off of performance? Is it a combination of the two? What is it? Because if we're going off of what Bo Nix did against the Tennessee Titans, and it's strictly off of what week 1 is, he should be much lower on this list. This should be Bo Nix's worst stat line of 2025. Period. It's not good. To have him at 21, though, leads me to believe that there might be some ulterior motives here for this list, because Bo should be lower if it's on week 1. And if it's not, that's fine, but say that. If you're saying, hey, we took into account individual performances, team performances, wins and losses, expected completion percentage, you name the criteria, I'll follow it. But like I said, there are other players on this list. Michael Penix Jr. played far better than Bo Nix did, and he's lower on this list. Let's go to tier 6 real quick, and then we'll end out with tier 7, which I find absolutely hysterical. J.J. McCarthy, Spencer Rattler, Russell Wilson, Bryce Young, Cam Ward, guys that did not play well at all. And then you have the bottom of the barrel, and I think this is hysterically funny. Caleb Williams is in tier 7, and look, I think this is because of a primetime loss that you saw on the biggest stage and the meltdown that the Bears had. But if you look at Caleb Williams' stat line, it was a lot better than a lot of other quarterbacks on this list. He played far better than Bryce Young. He played far better than Spencer Rattler. So having him on tier 7 kind of feels like a dig at the Chicago Bears. But again, potato, and then Tua comes in as the last rated quarterback. He sucked. I mean, he was like the worst rated quarterback outside of Bo in week 1, and it wasn't close. So where would you rank Bo before week 2? If you disagree with me and you think he's properly rated or should be rated higher, let me know. If you agree with me or think he should be lower, also let me know. That's going to do it for us on today's episode of the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. A reminder to hit that subscribe button and hit that like button. As always, be cool. Awesome. Caleb in tier 7 is absolutely hysterical. Okay. Quentin, I'm going to disagree with you. Are you talking about total? Like, Bo Nix should be in tier 3 as like a whole prospect, or are you saying based off of week 1's performance? Because if we're going off of week 1, like the article said, Bo should not be in tier 3 at all. I think, James, you hit the nail on the head. These lists are going to be opinionated and week to week until you hit about week 5. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, remember, we've got one more episode to get to, and that is our mailbag. So, if you want to spend some money to get on the mailbag front and center, it just costs a $2 super chat at the very minimum. Otherwise, use hashtag Broncos to get in. That's the only way that your question can be featured, by the way. 5 subscribers away from 40,000 is nuts. We're so close, Dylan. We're so close. Why is my chat not working? There we go. Oh, yeah. Quentin says a whole prospect. Yes. Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah. So the list was based off of the week to week. So that's why they had him in tier 5. But like I said, Joe Burrow being in tier 1 after his week 1 performance is not, it shouldn't be accurate. Burrow threw for like 118 yards 1 touchdown. He barely squeaked by the Cleveland Browns. They won 17-16. Yeah, and the same thing. Why is Geno so high? Why is Geno in tier 2? Use hashtag Broncos to get in on the show. Make sure you answer or ask your question, I should say. It's not just using hashtag Broncos. You have to ask your question as well. What up, Michael? All right. We got 52 people rocking with us right now. Make sure you use your hashtag Broncos to get in. How many questions do we have, Dilly? Yeah, we need a couple more. Dylan says we have like almost 0 questions. So make sure you use hashtag Broncos. Get in on this mailbag. We got one little super chat coming in there from our friend Jack, who will be featured front and center on our Denver Broncos mailbag. There you go, James. Carson, I'm going to ask one from you. Joseph, I'm going to ask one from you. Roy, I'm going to ask one from you. Mark, Pinky, Micah, Casey, I'm going to ask a couple of questions from you guys as well. Hashtag Broncos, my friends. Jack Attack coming in with the $5 super. We'll just answer that, Jack, by the way, on the mailbag, so we're not going to put that up right this moment. Oh, we do have to do the wheel spin. Let's do the wheel spin for James. $20 is a Wheel of Pain spin. So, James, this is for you, my friend. Hit it there, Dilly. Tick, 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 tick. 20 push-ups. Ooh. All right, do you want to put the camera on me so they can see me doing this? All right, here it comes. I'm going to get down and get ready to do it. Let me know when the camera's on me, Dilly. We're going to give you live play-by-play of these push-ups here in just a second. As soon as Dylan pulls up that camera. Oh, man, what a Thursday it has been. Must sound pretty weird right now, not seeing me on camera and just hearing my voice. It's like a narrator, like on Animal Planet. And the meerkat picks up his little tiny head. All right, are we good? Almost. 1 second. Here we go. You got to prove that you did them. You can't just say, I did 20 push-ups. By the way, I'm still here. Hi. All right. Ready? Let's do this. 20 push-ups it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Gotta love it. All right. Oh, I need a pizza now. What do you think, Dylan? Would you take a pizza? All right. Yeah, we did just have pizza. We got another one there from Mark coming in with the $5 super. Appreciate you, Mark. Okay. I think we should have enough now, by the way. We should. All right, here we go. I did just get married. Yeah, I know, James. Time for water. Whew. I have not really worked out, like, actually since my wedding. It was like the day of my wedding. So, God, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm feeling a little winded right now. Whew. All right, I'm ready for this. We have got ourselves... By the way, we're only $70 away from making everything on Sunday half off. Whew. Tell me you're out of shape without telling me you're out of shape. Good God. All right, let's get into our mailbag, shall we? Let's rock and roll. Welcome in, Broncos country, to the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports, answering your Denver Broncos fan-led questions during the NFL season. Do me a quick favor, if you could, before we start today's episode. Hit that thumbs up icon if you love the Denver Broncos. Coming in with our first $5 super chat is our guy, Jack Attack. What up, Jack? Did it seem like the Broncos were downplaying the severity of ultimately a bad game that the offense had? Still a win, though. I don't think it was downplaying it. I think Sean Payton addressed the question marks and the criticism that everybody had, which was, yes, we do know that the Broncos did not play good at all. However, he also came out and said that I need to be better at calling plays, getting the run game going. So I think week one is a we thing, not a me or a you thing. As the season progresses and you get more and more comfortable with the flow of the game, Sean Payton will end up saying, hey, listen, we've got to be better in this, and this, calling out specific players. But right now, I think it's just, hey, we shook the rust off. We got the W, riding into week two where we're going to play a lot better. Appreciate you, Jack, for asking the question. Mark, coming in. What do you think of the new Aussie tight end? He's a practice squad player, man. He's not going to see the field. Kind of how I do about Caleb Lohner. Like, you got to learn the game, and that's why you're designated to the practice squad. You've got to be able to learn the game of football. So, hey, I'm glad that, there's another IPP player. He and Jeremy Crawshaw, I'm sure, just kind of, shoot it up Aussie style when they're at practice. But outside of that, I really don't have one way to feel about it or the other. Thanks, Mark, for asking your question. James, fan favorite of the show. What up, James? If Sean Payton is using a committee running back room, does R.J. Harvey see more snaps than J.K. Dobbins in week 2? It's possible. I think it all depends on how the Colts are playing. So remember, if you're finding more success running the ball north to south through the A and the B gap and playing smash mouth football, then clearly J.K. Dobbins is your answer. If they're taking away the middle of the field, but you find success running to the outside and gaining steam by playing out in the flat, which is R.J. Harvey's strength, then sure, go ahead and go with R.J. Harvey. I think it just depends on what you're seeing at that time, which is why they call it second half adjustments. So if you see that J.K. Dobbins is playing really well, feed the hot hand. Let him ride. But I do think it is entirely possible based off of what you're saying, because Sean Payton doesn't put a whole lot of emphasis on one lead back. Pinky, I'd say overall, Bo can definitely be a top 10 quarterback. He was forcing himself to be a pocket QB. His feet are a gift. He needs to use them like last year. See, I disagree. I think the pocket presence was not the problem. I thought his feet never got set when he was in the pocket. So he got a little jumpy when he was in there. But I do think that he was trying too hard to force. If you look back at both of his interceptions, he was trying to force a ball in there. And I don't know where he got this whole, running across his body, firing at an awkward angle to try and make it look like a highlight reel. I just need him to hit his back foot on his third drop, fire his hips forward, and throw the ball. Complete the plays. I don't need it to look spectacular. I just need you to complete passes. That's what playing quarterback's all about. Now, it's a plus if you're able to roll out of the pocket like Caleb Williams or Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson and make a throw on the run. But very few guys can actually do that continuously with a ton of success. Bo's not there yet. So just do the easy things, and then when the time comes to make a highlight reel throw, then do it. Then try it. But you don't need to do that 6 or 7 times throughout the game when it's not needed. Appreciate you, Pinky, getting in on the show. Josie, who are some available Dre Greenlaw replacements? Okay, so are you saying that you want to get rid of Dre Greenlaw or what? Either way, I'll answer the question. I think we're kind of jumping the gun here on the Dre Greenlaw getting rid of. First of all, let's just say that it's week 2 or right before week 2. So Dre Greenlaw still has a lot of good football left for this team. I will admit to you that it is frustrating seeing him not take the field after you're paying him $10 million a year. So who are some Greenlaw replacements if he never hits the field? I'll go it from that angle. If Dre Greenlaw never touches the field for the Denver Broncos, well, Drew Sanders comes back week 5. JL Skinner, 2 of these guys are on our team. Skinner can actually play up as kind of like a hybrid linebacker and can play in a pinch if you need to. We also have Justin Stranad and Karene Reed, and you could also call up Lavelle Bailey. Jawan Bentley, he is a free agent that was last with the Patriots. He still remains unsigned. He's a middle linebacker that could end up being a really good player. And then Josie Jewell, bring him back to Mile High. Why not? Because he was released by the Panthers on July 23rd. And look, I'm not going to pretend to you that I want Josie Jewell back at Mile High. But I also think that he knows the system. He knows Vance Joseph. And believe it or not, his Broncos stats were actually pretty good over the entirety of his career with the Broncos. 453 tackles, 21 for loss, 9 sacks, 14 quarterback hits. I mean, I'm not saying he's the answer to your problems, but if you wanted to bring in someone that knew the culture, knew the team, and understood what it meant to wear the navy and orange, bring back Josie Jewell. Why not? So, again, I'm not going to say that I want him right now because I still think Dre Greenlaw has a lot of good football left to play. A reminder that we're going to get into some other questions here as we end out our mailbag. But first, let me tell you about our friends at Ethos. My friends, I got married. I took the plunge. Yes, I did. And life insurance now that I'm married means so much more because it's not just about me anymore. And that's where Ethos comes in. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. You can get coverage from Ethos in as little as 10 minutes and at less than $23 a month. Ethos is revolutionizing the insurance industry with a 100% online process and can provide protection for you and your loved ones in as little as 10 minutes. They've got no medical exams either. Just a few easy health questions to answer online. They are 100% online and hassle-free, which makes that process super easy to apply. You can get same-day coverage without ever leaving your house. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/NFL Daily. That's ethos.com/NFL Daily. I will have all of that in the comments and description of today's video. Micah says, I know it's a little early, but who do you think will win Broncos versus Chargers week 3? I think it's the Broncos. However, I made that prediction before they played the Chiefs, and they looked really good against the Chiefs. Ask me again after week 2 what I think. I think the Broncos need to come out and show something against the Colts. And if the Broncos come out firing on all cylinders, that might be one of the games of the week in the NFL. Not just on this channel, but as a whole. Everybody will have eyes on that game because The Chargers, I think they're a lot better than I originally gave them credit for. Carson, how do you think the offense can make the leap needed in order to meet the Super Bowl window expectations that Peyton and other analysts have the Broncos in? It's about not being out of your skis. And by that, I mean you have the best defense in the NFL. Ride the coattails of your defense. That doesn't mean don't play up to your expectations. But I don't need you to go out and score 35 points in a game. This Broncos defense will absolutely do a job of limiting teams most weeks to less than 20 points. Just score 24 or 25. That's all I need, because most of the time, you're going to win those games. You absolutely are. So if you take the approach of kind of like what the 2000 Ravens did, which is an all-world defense, and the offense does their job, you can win a Super Bowl. I think we get twisted sometimes. We want the offense to be so good, and we want the spectacular light show, and we want the fireworks. But sometimes it's better to go away with a win 24-17 than to win 38-10 or 38-30. Do you see what I'm saying? I think we just need a little bit of caution here, and we need to prioritize what the best part of this team is, which is the Denver Broncos defense. Pinky again. We know the defense is going to show up, but do you think being a top 15 or top 10 offense, I'm assuming is what you mean, could get a deep playoff run? Yeah, I do. If you're a top 15 offense, you will absolutely make an AFC championship game with how good this defense is. I feel very, very strongly about that for sure. Thank you, Pinky, for answering your question or asking your question. Bro Winston, bang, coming in with a $50 super. Would you guys ever do a collab with Perna? You know, it's funny. I have actually reached out to some corresponding Broncos content creators. Nobody answers my calls yet. Fair enough. I've only been doing this for about 4 months, and we are a constantly growing channel. But I will say this. If anybody wanted to pick up the phone and give Moose a call, I'm always answering. I'm always answering. So I hope it happens someday. But as of right now, let's just get through the NFL season. That's going to do it for us on today's episode, Broncos Country. Welcome in, or be cool, I should say, coming into this mailbag edition. I just got all twisted up there. Remember, thank you for joining everything. God, I am all over the place today. How about this? Let's just start over. A mile-high salute to you. Be cool. Jeez Louise. That was terrible. That was an awful ending there, Dilly. I couldn't even think of words. Appreciate you, Pinky. We are 1 subscriber away from 40K. That's unbelievable. Come on, who's going to hit it? Who's going to hit it? Is everybody that is watching right now subscribed to the channel? Because this is a crazy, crazy number to hit. Dylan, I am sweating. I need it. Pinky, appreciate you. Thank you for the kind words, too. My wife also thanks you. Wow. I cannot believe we're just going to sit right here at 39,999. This is so close. All right. Here's what we'll do. I'll give you guys 5 more minutes to get your super chats in. If you want to help us get to 150, we can make sure that everything else is half off on Sunday. Otherwise, I have to add the other guys in here to... I got to add James 5 times. We did it! There it is! Sweet! And that's going right in. Going right in there. We're going right back into production, Dilly. And there it is. Shout out to y'all. You guys rock. All right, 40,000 subscribers on the channel, and it feels so good. Mark says, I have to go, but before I do, here's to the newlyweds. Congratulations to Moose and his new wife. Also, go Broncos. Mark, you're a legend. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I greatly appreciate everything that you just you send in, and you have been a fan of this channel for quite some time. That is awesome. I really do appreciate you, my friend. He is also in one time. So I got James in 5 times, right? James in 5 times. Mark, and then Jack is also in 1 time because he also sent in a $5 super. Mark is in, Jack is in, James is in 5 times, and Bro Winston is in 20 times because he sent a 50 in. All right. I think we're in a good spot there, Dilly. Hit 40,000 on today's live show, which is pretty cool. I'll give you guys another minute to get your last-minute supers in. Otherwise, we're going to take off, and that's going to do it for us until Sunday when we face off with the Indianapolis Colts. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. Oh, I love that number, Dylan. I love that number. All right, 42 people watching right now. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I think that's how we end today's show, Dylan. On a nice, even number right there. 40,000 subs. Appreciate everybody that tuned in today on this Thursday. I'm going to go finish up some work before I take off for the weekend, and I will see you all on Sunday for our matchup with the Indianapolis Colts. As always, Broncos country. Be cool.